story of one incredible year during which a handful of pilots and engineers pushed themselves to conquer the Earth in a way no one had thought possible. Though all of it is true, its elements, white-knuckle flights over fog-covered iceberg fields, treks through tiger-infested jungles to rescue a lost pilot, an airplane designer so poor he ate potatoes he grew in his backyard, but who remained convinced that the world would soon know his name, feel like fantasy. That seems fitting. Even as the race began, flying around the globe was the stuff of make-believe. Each mile flown closed the gap between reality and imagination, and set the world on a course that led directly to our current age, when commercial space travel feels tantalizingly near. It is a tale of triumphs and failures, heroes and skeptics. It stretches from the coldest reaches of Alaska to the hottest deserts in Iraq, and connects a cast of characters ranging from school children in Japan to the King of England to a failed Broadway actor just hoping to get away from his hometown in Connecticut. Through its dozens of stops, at some of Europe's first airports, to places that had never seen airplanes, the race forced a change of perspective. For the first time, the power of flight allowed the people of the world to see themselves as part of a collective whole, rather than as members of scattered nations, and suggested that a lasting peace built on human connection was at hand. We know now, of course, that this optimism was fleeting. A bright light wedged between the darkness of 2 world wars. Yet as we look toward the next era of space travel, the promise of technology and ingenuity to bring us together remains. This is a story with the globe as its stage. And it all starts with a man, banished far from his home, who was cursed to see what the future would bring. Chapter 1. The Prophet. When he closed his eyes, he could still see the flames. A steady breeze murmured through the curtains of his bungalow, letting in the soft Hawaiian sun. Unpacked luggage crowded the living room, leaving the impression that he was building a barricade. Somewhere nearby seabirds trilled above the rustle of palm fronds, drowning out the low sounds of the busy harbor. Yet at that moment, Billy Mitchell was far away, lost again in anger. No matter what he did, he came back to the same image in his mind: hundreds of airplanes burning on a field in France. They had been set aflame intentionally, though none were so damaged that destruction was the only course left. Their sin was being seen as no longer necessary. When Mitchell protested, his superiors in the army told him that the aircraft were surplus now that the Allied powers had won the World War. And so they torched them. Over 2,300 airplanes were eventually incinerated, their apparent use in the modern world nothing more than kindling. Planes had played a pivotal role in this great war, but that would be the end of aircraft as far as the U.S. military was concerned. Air power was not the future of warfare. Life would go back to how it had been and always would be, no matter what Mitchell thought. As the smoke over France fizzled, he sensed the future slipping away. He had come so far, but it was still not enough. He opened his eyes and paced his bungalow as the faint rhythm of crashing waves hummed in the background, providing a metronome for his rage. Lean, with sharp cheekbones and a cleft chin, he presented a regal picture, falling naturally into the center of attention. At the age of 44, Mitchell had done all that was asked of him, and his grateful nation had given him numerous medals for his service. His father had been a U.S. senator. His paternal grandfather, a railroad baron, was once the wealthiest person in the state of Wisconsin. Yet when Billy Mitchell opened his mouth, all of that refinement evaporated. His temper was legendary, his willingness to humiliate those who disagreed with him unmatched. In the world of business in which his grandfather operated, those traits might have been virtues, but in the